Hello, welcome back to another Fabulous Review on my channel. I'm Jacob from Joe's Book Corner, and normally we're over by my book corner or in a near wall. Today we're in my normal recording space for any other video that is not booktube in general, and that is simply because I have my Goodreads stats pulled up, where I'm running through my last 39 books I read in the year. These are between the dates of November 1st to December 31st. There's 39 books to go through. It's going to be kind of a long video. I'm not going to tell you all my thoughts and stuff, but I will let you know if there is a review coming or kind of why I read it, if there was a purpose for it, or whatever it might be. I do want to mention, because my goal was to read 200 books, by the end I did read a lot of single issue graphic novels because I really wanted to reach that goal, you know? And it's been a really hectic December. Last December was really, really hectic. And now it's January. You'll see this a little bit into January. Sorry about that. I'm starting to get back into YouTube, and it's going to take me a minute. By February, we'll be back on good graces, I promise. So let's go ahead and get started. If you see me looking over here whatsoever, it's just because Goodreads stats are pulled up, you know. And the first book we got to talk about, which will make an appearance twice on this list, 3 times on this list, is the book I started in the month of November with, and that is Swimming Lessons by Lily Reinhart. Swimming Lessons by Lily Reinhart is her debut poetry collection. I really can't explain to you why this worked for me so much, but it did. I read it both on November 2nd, and then I read it again later on in the month, which will come back on November 8th. And I even read it in December when I got my physical copy when I bought it for me and my best friend for Christmas. I absolutely love this book. I think it's phenomenal. I could not recommend enough if you love poetry and you love drawings and poetry and stuff. Like, I think the best part about this novel that I realized is that the red, as you guys can see, there are red markings. I tried to choose pink and red based on the colors of the novel. I think it really spoke to it. But some of these poems, one, I related to myself and I felt on a more personal level. But also, when writing Broken Boys, I'll spoil that title. When reading Broken Boys, I saw so many poems in here that I could relate back to our main character Adam, or like our main love interest in the novel, and I absolutely love that. I adore it. It makes me really happy inside, and so I highly recommend Lily Reinhart's Swimming Lessons. This is like the one of like 4. Okay, since we're doing this in order, I'm gonna hate myself, but we're literally gonna read them on by the list. So also on November 6th, I read 3 different books. I think I couldn't actually figure out how to get Fences number 2 off of here. I did read Fences number 2. It's the issue. We're not gonna pull it up. I read Fences Volume 2 and Volume 3. I will be picking this up again. I kind of realized, I would say, as watching other creators talk about toxicity in romances, I do love me a good toxic romance. I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to try to sit here and be like, that's not what I try to pick up, because I would say it's much more interesting to read, and I'm not aspiring to have this romance. I am past that part of my life where I thought that was healthy, and part of the reason why I really liked the romances is because I really related to them, because that was the romance I was searching for. That's not so much the case anymore, and I've grown up, and I have became bigger, and I would say I just became much more well educated and stuff. But Fences, I would say, is one of those toxic romances. I don't know if I'll pick up volumes 4 and 5. I don't know if I'll continue on with this series. I did not like Captive Prince, which is who PC Cast is most known for. I really thought a lot of that stuff was really offensive and really, really, like, just really disgusting. I didn't really experience any of that with this. I think the bullying is just a lot, and I'm trying to stay away from that, as I don't want to be showcasing something I don't really feel like you should be reading. Sometimes you read books that are just not great, and this just happened to be one of those series that I objectively enjoyed, but also objectively could see that it was very bad. And I might read it still. Who knows? I can't say I'm a perfect person when it comes to that. The next book we're reading, which is the first of like 6 Shadowhunter novels, which we'll be talking about, is... Sorry, my stack is over here. City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is the final book of the Mortal Instruments, and I already have a review up on my channel for it, so I'll just link you over there. It's just easier. You know what I mean? Just easier. That is full spoilers. Just prepare yourself. All the rest of these, I'll get there. When we talk about it, we'll get there. And then, once again, like I said, I repicked up swimming lessons for no other reason except I just really wanted to listen to it again. And then I read Evidence of the Affair, which is the last two Our Jenkins read I need to read, except for a new one which I need to pre-order. I'm trying to get a side copy. It's like a goal of mine, which is Malibu or something. Evidence of the Affair, which is up on the screen right now though, is a 90-page novella that I listened to on Audible because it was free to me, and it follows an affair. These two people who are in a relationship with two other people believe that their significant others are having sex with one another, and yet they're trying to prove it. And then an unlikely bond, kind of wakes in like 90 pages. It's like a full audio cast. So like if you're into those, maybe I recommend it. It was like an hour long. Won't take you very long to read if you like that type of thing. And if you do. So like, you got that going for you. Then I read a graphic novel, which I also didn't realize I was supporting an author I don't really enjoy very much, and that is You Brought Me the Ocean. This is a DC retelling, which I also didn't know. I saw two boys holding hands, and I thought this was by the person who wrote Aristotle and Dante's Infinite something or the other. I didn't particularly enjoy that book, but I really liked the writing of the novel, and I really liked some of the things that were talked about in the novel. It wasn't like my favorite novel, though. I thought Alex Sanchez wrote those, and I slowly came to realize Alex Sanchez wrote Rainbow Boys, which objectively I hated, and I objectively have talked about how much I hated them. I read them while I was in college because a lot of people recommended them to me, and I just felt like they're just so dated. And this also felt kind of dated. So, to each their own, I would say. The next one we're going to talk about is Caroline. Oh my god. I'm also giving no star ratings for any of this stuff for the simple fact that I don't remember what mostly I gave these. If you're curious, my Goodreads is linked down below. I don't ever rate anything. The only times I don't rate things are when I DNF them and or through a child's literature because that's not my audience, Either way, I'm not written for them. I don't even know how. Anyway, Coraline is the graphic novel by Neil Gaiman, and I hated it. I did not like this at all. I was very disappointed. I was expecting something really creepy, really terrifying, and I got something kind of basic. And I truly think the movie is better, so I highly recommend you guys check out the adaptation. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not, but that's my tea for you today. I also read Mary's Monsters, Love, Menace, and How Mary Shelley Created Frankenstein. And this is like an autobiography told in verse with pictures. And it was okay. It was fine. It was nothing great. I don't really know if I'd recommend it. But it was a nice way to learn more about authors that define a generation and defined a genre. More like a genre, not so much a generation. And then I picked up If I Would Leave Me If I Could, a collection of poetry by Halsey. Halsey is by far one of my favorite artists. I love her music. It brings me such inspiration. Say what you will about the actual person of Halsey. I really just like what she says. I really like the messages that are brought here. The problem with this collection of poetry, and the reason why it didn't make any of my lists in the end of the year, was because it was just so triggering for me personally that I had a hard time talking about it outside of actually reading it. And that's just the honest truth. I think I talk about it maybe in like a vlog or something. If so, I'll try to find that clip or whatever. But I don't really know. This is a whole bunch of poetries about her life, present and past. And a lot of the past stuff that she went through, that I believe she went through, or someone else in her life that she knows went through, was very, very real to me and personally to what I went through in my life. And so it just affected me on a whole nother level, and it hurt me. And I had a panic attack at work because of it. I did finish it. I did like it. And I think there's a lot here that is super duper good. So I do recommend, but please look it up first, as there's a shit ton of trigger warnings to go with this particular short novel. I was also really disappointed. I bought this like 2 days before Christmas. And I was really, really disappointed with how the book actually came out to be. And it's just like a hardback novel. Overall, the audiobook was better. The next book we're going to be talking about is The Only Good Indians, written by Stephen Graham Jones, which I just adored. It took me probably like, 30 to 40% of the novel to truly get into it. It had some really, really gross things. If you guys don't know, one of the things that really makes me disturbed inside is teeth being pulled. And it's a very big part of this novel, and so that was really hard for me to read. But I really, really did enjoy it, and I thought overall, and by the end, it was just so beautiful, and the story made me cry, and I just think it wrapped up so nicely. like in the best way that this book could possibly wrap up, and I would highly recommend. But once again, I do recommend you look up the trigger warnings for this one as well, as the brutal violence and animal abuse could be a lot for a lot of people, so it's up to you. You know, you do you. Then I read the Bane Chronicles, wherever that's going to pop up on the screen. And the Bane Chronicles follows Magnus Bane from 1902, I want to say maybe even earlier than that, to a present-day storyline that I can't talk about in full detail. If I'm not mistaken, you have to read all the way up to City of Glass? Is that right? Or maybe City of Heavenly Fire. I'll have you City of Heavenly Fire since I read these in order. You have to read all the way up to Simply Heavenly Fire to really truly enjoy the Bane Chronicles without getting spoilers. And my review for this will be coming up within the next week or so. As at the moment, because there's so many backlogged of the Shadowhunter Chronicles, we'll have like one a week. So you have that to look forward to. If you like my Bane Chronicles, I think a lot of you guys really like my Shadowhunter deep dives, and so I think you guys are going to enjoy the new format that we are going down with the series. And I really enjoyed filming all of these that we're talking about, and there's quite a few. The next few, the first book from Blood and Ash, Poppy. This is Poppy's. This came out in March as well. The sequel did come out later on this year. I think it's already out. Couldn't tell you what it's called. I don't believe I'll be continuing on with the series. This is by Jennifer Alistro and a co-author. And I didn't really like it. I read this for Kay Weismer's book club over on her Patreon. And I truly just did not, it didn't really click for me. And there's a lot of things in here that were just really cringeworthy. I just didn't really like the story, so that's my opinion on that. Now, the next four novels we're going to talk about, and then we'll talk about the one that's like kind of wedged there in the middle, I read specifically for a video that will never see the light of day. It was a fun little video where Books and Lava, I'm going to explain what it is, and then you'll probably understand why I'm not going to do it. Books and Lava had this video that she did a few months ago, obviously back in October, I want to say, maybe even September, where she ate a peanut butter Reese cup, which had THC in it, and she was like, how many pages can I read? Can I read a book high, basically? It's the moral of the story. Her answer obviously came down to no, and so I was like, okay, I want to make this a full-fledged video. Can I read a book high? And the answer to that question is, kinda. I read four books. I read Amulet Book 4, 3, 2, and 1. This one was a reread. Everything else was brand new words to me. And I couldn't remember one single thing that happened. So that's why I said kinda. Also, it's a middle grade graphic novel, which is questionable to read while high. But I did it because I was familiar with the story and it brought back a lot of good memories and stuff. But ultimately, I just don't want to put myself in that type of state before. I have a few videos up on my channel. I have a VOD going up on my channel within the next few weeks where I drink tequila and play Fall Guys. So I'm there. It's there. But I don't want to purposely just be like, here you go. If that is a video that really, really inspires and you really think it's going to be really funny, I don't think it's that funny, to be honest with you. I've seen the raw footage. Just let me know in the comments, and I will surely splice something together. Maybe we can do like a blooper reel from it or something. Yeah, because I say some really mean things. Either way, we also read A Whisper in the Dark, which is book 1 of the Charlie Travesty. This is also okay. It was like 100 pages, if I'm not mistaken. The whole point of these are they're in, it's a serial series, and so like 100 pages gets released from one, and then part 2 comes out like 2 months later. You read part 2, so forth and so forth. I actually believe this will be really fun to write like this, and so I might even write a book like this one day, where I write the whole thing and then release them in serials. I think that would be so much fun. And so I liked the idea, I just didn't really like the execution, but I was curious enough about the ending, and I heard the last one's pretty good, that I might continue on with it. I'm not sure. And then we have finally the Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, which is the last video, not anymore, that was up on my channel where I read it. And I also really like this. This follows from the events of City of Heavenly Fire to getting ready to start the next series, which is The Dark Artifice. I really liked it. It follows a character I can't really talk about. Truly can't talk about this book. But my review will also be coming out this month. So those were the 21 books I read in November. Then we move over to December, where I read another 18 books. I do want to mention quite a bit of these are one-off ones, but there's also quite a bit that are actually like full-fledged novels, so I don't really feel that bad about it. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do to hit those 200 marks, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So basically we have Midnight Sun, which I do have a physical copy of, but I'll put it up on the screen. Midnight Sun is the newest Twilight. I really enjoyed it. I liked where I was at, and I had been saying, oh, you guys are gonna get review, you guys are gonna get review. And then I just realized I really didn't care. And it had came out in like August, and the time is over. I enjoyed it. If I like it enough, then maybe I'll review the next one, as I surely will be reading it. And I'll probably reread Midnight Sun when that comes out. But out of the way, we're going to move on. The next one we're going to talk about is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Dark Artifice. And this follows Emma in 2012 in Los Angeles, investigating her parents' murder. I really liked Lady Midnight. I had some issues with Lady Midnight, but overall, I thought it was a fun read, and I liked being inside this world, and I liked the twists and turns. The sequel, which we're going to talk about in a minute, is so good. Like, I highly recommend you just read it so you can read Lords of Shadows. But either way, this vlog will be coming out at some point in the month of January as well. And you can hear my full-fledged thoughts about it over there. The next one we read were Tiny Pretty Things. I read this because I binge-watched a television show and I heard the book was not great. The TV show had horrible acting in it. And this is just a whole bunch of drama about, like, dancers. I didn't like it. I actually really did not like it, to be honest with you. I thought the TV show was much better, in my personal opinion. And also, it might be the fact that the novel is written, it's like a young adult thriller, which... Do they make good ones of those? What's your guys' favorites? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to read it. But for this one in particular, I just didn't. I think it worked. And I liked the more adult angle they took with the television show. A lot of people didn't. And I did. So. And I re-picked up Swimming Lessons. Then I read Swimming Lessons by Lily Reinhart. Again, I've already talked about it. I loved it. That's why it's on my favorites. And then we read a book called The Shadowhunters Codex on Christmas. I just kind of wanted more information. This was a fun, cute little Christmas present, and this is, like, Clary's, like, novel that she gets. She gets one of these in the book, and so there's notes between Clary and Simon and Alec and, like, all this other stuff written throughout, and I think it's going to be really, really fun, and if I have any questions and stuff, I know exactly where to reference. These are for up until City of Lost Souls, and then the Infernal Devices, and so it doesn't cover the whole series, and it only has the early half, but still pretty great. I highly recommend. And then we picked up Poems for the End of the World for a second, third, fourth, maybe fourth time of the year. I wanted to tab my way through it. I did. I enjoyed tabbing it. It's a great time. Look how pretty that came out. I love this. Also a favorite. I have a whole review of it. If I remember, I'll link it as well. And then we read my own personal book, Broken Boys. I am still in the middle of reading this. I'm reading it twice. So I'm in my middle of my second reread of it. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying myself, but I don't really want to talk about myself that very much. If you guys want to know more information on what's happening with Broken Boys, there should be a goals video. Possibly already out or will be out. It's coming out after this. And so, where I'll talk more about what I'm doing with Broken Boys in general. I have a few ideas and a few changes I think that are going to be happening. And then I read Lords of Shadows, which was just so gorgeous. I loved it so much. It was so phenomenal. I truly am so excited for Queen of Air and Darkness. I cannot wait to start it this month when I get around to it. I have so many other audiobooks I'm listening to at the moment that I truly just can't get to it right now. But I can't wait to dive into it. It's going to be so fun. This review, Lords of Shadows, is not slated for January, so you'll see it in early February. But we are playing fast catch-up, so, you know, I think that's fine, if I say so myself. And then I read In the Holidays by Christine and Lauren. Kate Weiser's Patreon. That's why I read this. A lot of other people were doing it. It was a lot of people read this. I did not really like it. I thought it was very self-explanatory. I thought the writing was really immature. And it really does tempt me not to pick up another Christina Lauren. If you guys have a favorite that could maybe make me fall back in love with Christina Lauren's writing, let me know in the comments as well, as I would love to know. I finished Cranky Paws. We've been reading it for like 2 months. I just did not want to finish it since I didn't like it at all. My sister gave it like a 3-star. I would also like to mention that I would look up what's in the book, because I would say it does influence some bad behavior and also talks about animal cruelty in graphic length for a children's book, in my opinion. And so if that's something you're wanting to read to your child, good for you. If that's something you're kind of cautioning about, maybe I would stay away. Just look it up first before you do. The next one we read is The Last Final Girl. I hated this book. This is also by Stephen Grant Jones. This is like an ode to like 80s horror movies. And it was just way too sexual in my opinion and not enough gore. So 2 things I really don't like about horror films. The overt sexuality that does come across, and the fact that I'm not grossed out to the point where I want to puke. Like, am I really watching a great horror film? Or reading, I guess, in that case. The next few, I'm just going to pull up a photo from each version of the comic books, and we're just going to read them. So we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I read 18, 19, and 20. 20 is not available on Goodreads yet, so can't link it. I also read Angels 15 and 16 and Black Widow #2. Out of all of these, Black Widow was the best, and I will be continuing on when I get paid on Tuesday. Or the next time I get paid, I will be picking up the rest of the series, as this is just phenomenal. I'm very curious to see where it goes. Willow was also very good. Probably my only favorite thing coming out of Boom for Buffy. And then the traditional Buffy stuff is fine. It's enjoyable, but like I'm just like hate reading it. And Angel and Spike is... It truly ruined Angel. It just did. They're so bad. Like, they're so horrible. And I don't know if it's the writer. I don't really know what it is. But they're pretty bad. But guys, those are the 39 books that I read. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a big fat thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below. Hit subscribe button. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was really long, but we have a lot to talk about. 2020 is, I would say, officially now wrapped up. I have a few videos from last year that will still be going out this year. But other than that, we cool. We chill. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.